So guess what, everybody? It is time for local hogwash. First and foremost, we must apologize for our lapse last week. It was just a week.
And Brandon Jones, I got your message in Messenger. Sorry, friend. But here we are now, so everything's fine.
So I did a thing today. It actually started the other day when I went to do a story. I met this human right here. And when I got halfway through what I was doing, she told me that she knew about the show, and I said, "Oh, you should definitely come on our show." And then when I got back here, BJ was like, "Well, you know, that's Michelle's BFF, right?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "I thought I was Michelle's BFF." And he said, "You have to tell Michelle right now that you saw Miss Jennifer Croom. She'll be jealous." And I said, "Oh, I'm going to do one better." So Memorial Day is coming up. And in my head, I was going to do this big thing. We were going to go to Lake Lehman. Everybody was going to go camping, and I was super excited. But then Dean is going to graduate.
Where is
we
Lake
found
Lehman?
out today. It's in Wallace.
Oh.
So now all of a sudden he has.
Thanks, Dean.
Right, thanks.
Thanks for screwing up Memorial Day weekend.
So now we have graduation practice tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We found out he was actually going to graduate this morning. Graduation practice tomorrow, graduation on Friday, and then because he's a responsible adult, he has to work.
He likes that money.
Yeah, but I like Lake Lehman.
Who's Dean?
Dean's my son.
And where does he go to school?
Kinston High School.
He's precious.
He used to go, my boys both went to Green Central for 2 years.
Where she's at now.
And I became very familiar with the guidance counselor, Mr. Campbell, who was phenomenal, P.S. But my boys were a little anti-school. They're still a little anti-school. And so when COVID happened, Dean was like, "There's no way I'm going virtual." He said, "Mom, I just can't do it." He's like, "I'm 18 years old. I'm just going to get my GED." And I basically said at this point, because this was back, we didn't really know what was going on in August. The schools were just trying to figure things out, and it was so chaotic. And I'm like, "Look, buddy, okay." But he never did. He never told them. He just was MIA. So 3 months later, they're like, "Hello, why isn't he doing anything?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He quit school. And they're like, "Well, no, he didn't." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, let me call him right now, and you can talk to him." But then Miss Kellen Bryant adamantly refused to, she effectively refused to accept his resignation as a student. And worked with him, got him the type of schedule he needed to be successful. And he just took his 3 exams, and I know for certain he passed English and history. And he feels like he did very well in his Spanish. That was all he needed.
I feel like I need to just say one thing.
What?
I feel like Green Central would have helped Dean do what he needed to do if we had thought he was staying.
No, we'd already moved.
Okay.
Green Central is completely and totally. No, I have nothing but love for Green Central.
We would have got it done.
If she didn't say it now, she would have called you later on.
I would have, or I would have commented on it because it would have worried me the whole time.
No, she would have just called you and be like, "Hey,
No, we moved to Kinston
need to talk."
2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So Dean, I believe, did his freshman and sophomore year at Green Central, but junior and senior would have been at Kinston. Totally in the clear. We love Green Central.
Okay, thank you. I do as well.
So I know that we are now kind of off on our weeks because
we are.
Next week we'll have no guest, but the following week, I'm very excited about this one. On June 9th, we're going to have Matthew Young, the director of the CSS New Civil War Interpretive Center. I forget what his drink was. I think it was beer. I'm not sure. Have to look. But then following that, on June 23rd, it's not going to be water.
I have water.
Jennifer's got her water.
Do you want wine?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I don't drink.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And then on June 23rd, we have...
Drink her part.
Right? We have Tanisha Darden, who was one of the first people I met in Kinston, and I just love her.
Good, Linwood.
She has a business called Bougie Brushes for makeup. It's so cool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is she bringing some of that stuff?
I can ask her.
Yes.
Okay, Tanisha, we really need you to bring some stuff to let us see.
I like fancy stuff that sparkles.
So my car doesn't have air conditionings, so it's been rough. And then poor Talitha today, I had to drive her to a few places because she got dropped off to work today. And all I kept thinking of is, oh my gosh, she's going to melt in my car.
If you just drive really fast, it makes so many noise.
Except I don't speed.
You don't go 9 over?
Mm-mm. I might go 3 over. I am a rule follower.
I like rules.
I might go 3 over if I really have to hurry up. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but Michelle had no idea that Jennifer was going to be on the show.
I did not.
So.
I had no clue. And Kristy and Danny acted so weird. They were very hush-hush, very secretive, very ha-ha-ha. And I was like, what is going on here? Kristy wasn't here. Danny was more talkative than normal. That's
Danny
when I
didn't.
knew something.
Danny didn't know.
I think he picked up on something because, I mean, he was just whoop, whoop, just chattering away. I was like, somebody's probably about to die. Somebody's going away from here, and it might be me because he's talking to me so much.
I was an only child, so I was raised by TV because I don't like to go outside.
Not really.
And so my job was to pick up sticks and pine cones, and then after that I could come back in. And so I just watch TV, and I love TV, and I get very serious about TV. Can I tell you one story?
Sure.
Just one story. Okay. So, like, when I'm into something, I'm into it. Like, I'm loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched all 5 seasons of Sons of Anarchy. And season 6, episode 1, Jax cheated on Tara. And Tara had been loyal to him the whole time he was in prison, but she goes to prison for 30 seconds and he cheats on her. No, I quit watching it immediately.
Broke up with Jax.
Immediately. That was her name, right, Tara? It's been a long time. Okay, I'm going to make sure I hadn't lost my mind.
I know it's not a movie, but I divorced Chrissy Teigen on Twitter this week.
You know what? After you tell me that, I did some digging on old Chrissy, and she's a potty mouth.
The reason why I divorced Chrissy Teigen from Twitter was because she actually said things like, you dirt nap, on Twitter, and then sent Courtney Stodden a private message, effectively telling her, not effectively, absolutely telling her to kill herself.
Yeah. Go to sleep forever, I think is what she said.
No, she said, why don't you kill yourself?
Oh, okay.
There was a couple of them.
Okay, well, there's that too.
So, and then I'm a forgive and forget person. So, Chrissy Teigen came out and she made a very public apology. She went on Twitter. The problem is, she said she tried to reach out to Courtney Stodden, but she did not. And she actually had Courtney Stodden blocked on Twitter. So her very public apology was for everybody else and not for the victim. So I divorced her.
All right, I want to tell everybody about my nail polish color on my toes. If you go to the nail place in Goldsboro, by TJ Maxx and Old Navy, they have a color called Pink Hill, North Carolina, which is where I was born and raised until we moved to Kansas when I was 7. But hey, it's still my hometown. It's fine. So if you lived in Pink Hill or you live in Pink Hill, go there. Get the color. It's beautiful.
So we had a lot of news this week.
We did have a lot of news this week.
We have another wanted human in Kinston.
I thought you were going to talk about the commissioner's meeting.
No, but that was crazy.
They are always traumatizing.
That was wild, though. But anyway,
sorry.
Backing up. Sorry.
You see all those squirrels up there?
The 2 men who allegedly caused the death of Jeff Hill were charged with second-degree murder, which is something we talked about before. That
how does somebody with the last name Christmas hurt? And that's the most special time of year besides my birthday and my children. And you're going to kill somebody. Your last name is Christmas.
Well, there's probably so much pressure on him with his last name being Christmas that people expected him to be Christ-like. So he probably just the pressure just made him go murder.
Hey, crazy.
he Christmas turned himself in, so he is in custody, as far as I know, charged with second-degree murder. The other person, who is Joseph Hughes, he's wanted. If you know anything or know where he is, contact the Kinston Police Department. Get him off the streets.
When they put up some reward money.
So you hear that, Mr. Hughes? They're going to sell you out.
What does Sloan say?
Snitches
Get stitches and wind up in ditches. But they might have $5,000 in their pocket if you know where Joey Hughes is.
I have to give a clarification on the previous episode where we talked about that, because I was talking about Turner and how I was proud of him for turning down alcohol because I didn't know he was 16. And so I had said, if my sons were on the show, they would have been like, Bud Light. Well, apparently that was the wrong beer to choose, because all 4 of my children have made comments like, Mom, nobody drinks Bud Light. What are you doing? I don't know what they drink, but it's definitely not Bud Light, so I apologize for the Bud Light comment. Hugh Pollock is retiring from Arundel Parrot Academy.
You want to talk about some sad people? I'm talking about devastated.
They are.
They're so sad.
He was so great, though. Of all the people I've interviewed in these last 2 years, he will be one of the most memorable. Oh my gosh, memorable, because I've never met a more humble human in my entire life.
And isn't his hair pretty great?
Yes, his hair is pretty great. He reminded me of Mr. Rogers. Now, do you want to talk about the commissioners' meeting?
Go ahead.
So,
Those dear men.
we get the agenda a couple days ahead of time, and I always read through it with BJ, or he reads through it and tells me what to pay attention to. And there was an item in there for an armored vehicle. Let me be real clear. This is an armored vehicle, not an assault vehicle, like the commenters to my article kept insinuating. A little salty there. So, I was mad. First of all, just read it. Then have an opinion.
Yeah.
Lenore County had a broke down POS from 1981. That was what was protecting our local law enforcement.
That's the year Jennifer was born.
Lies. I was born in 82.
Oh, she was August 82.
Still older than both.
She and my dog have the same birthday.
That is interesting.
And Obama.
So the sheriff put together a packet to yet again request for this armored vehicle. And he used real examples of how this vehicle could have helped.
I mean, there were only 2 manhunts in 6 months. So.
Right? And we had to wait an hour and a half for Goldsboro to send theirs. So, like, the reality of it is, I know that there's a lot of talk about militarizing the police. That's not what this is. This is protection. When you look at the actual pictures of them holding a single shield with other deputies behind them, and that is their sole line of defense, shame on us. Shame on us as a community for allowing that to happen. Well, the commissioners agreed, and they approved the armored vehicle, but only because they'd already approved new vehicles. So
that counts as a vehicle.
Right, but that cancels out all the other stuff they need. Like, it is unfathomable to me that it has been that the armored vehicle that they currently have was parked since 2018, and it was from 1981 and would stop basically nothing. Go ahead.
Do you think they will let me drive it?
No.
Well, I was kind of figuring that I could maybe break out my press pass. See how far that went.
So we just want to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Thank Magic Mall Media for gifting us with the amazing equipment and studio that we use each week. And to Brandon for creating our phenomenal logo. But most importantly, we want to thank Danny Perez for doing the phenomenal job that he does every week with us. And his patience for dealing with us all the time.
I need to get one of those Danny cardboard cutouts.
That would be great.
Like the face?
Yes.
Or you hold up the face?
I don't know. I want the full body thing.
If you want to be a guest on our show, we are booked through September. But we are definitely...
Oh, we're famous.
It is wild.
Well, I know.
We're big time in a small town. Sometimes.
The 2 people noticed we didn't have a show last week.
Hey, it's better than none. It's better than nothing.
And we didn't make any announcements about it. Like, usually I'll go on and say, we're in the studio today, or something along those lines. But I was like, it was mostly my fault we didn't have a show. But did you ever just have a no good, very bad, or no good, I'm going to say it all wrong, never mind, just a really, really, really bad day? And that was me. Like, we had a rough week. And so when Michelle and I were talking about the show, and I'm like, she wasn't her usual energetic self, so man, I pounced. I'm like, we could skip a week. It's okay.
I didn't have the energy to come in here and turn these lights on. I mean, that's my only job because it's the only one I can do. I mean, I can do the other ones, but I don't like to because I can't afford any of this stuff.
That's what I told BJ one day. I was like, I don't, because he told us when we were going to go. We were going to go to the Caswell Hotel.
Do you believe in ghosts?
That's a complicated question.
Oh yeah.
Because then do you think spirits are ghosts? Do I believe in like Casper? No. But do I believe that like my mom could come back and give me a message? Yes.
Yeah. So you kind of do. So we were supposed to go hunt ghosts last week, and it didn't work out.
What is the Caswell Hotel?
It's haunted, apparently.
So it's a hotel that was built in 1906 or 1907, depending on which book I looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very forward-thinking hotel of its time. It was, it had both American and European style, and for, I don't know, 115 years, I guess it sat there. And I had heard that it was haunted, but I'm very extremely ridiculously skeptical about things like that. So when Michelle first pitched to me, I was like,
Not me.
not interested.
Like y'all were gonna spend the night?
No, we were just going to do the show there.
Yeah, like 2 hours. We figured something was going to get us. It'd get us in the first 30 minutes.
I think if you go look for trouble, trouble's going to find you. That's what I think. So I don't think you go looking for ghosts, because then something of the similar kind is going to like.
Okay, what's your final thoughts about being on the show, Jennifer?
This was a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I'm glad I ran into you.
I know.
Was
Almost
it everything
literally.
you dreamed of?
Yes.
And more?
Yes.
So we will be here same time, same place next week.
Maybe.
We will be all by
just kidding.
ourselves. We won't have a guest. And then the following week we will have, I just drew a
Matthew
complete-
Young.
Thank
Matthew
you.
Young.
We will have Matthew Young and...
Is he going to come dressed up
Wait, what? Why would he come dressed up?
as a Civil War person?
On that note, we are going to call it an evening,
Kristy said
everybody.
she's had enough. She's done.
I promised I would try to keep us at an hour.
She's regretted her
Well,
decision.
you did. You're fine. We're just 6 minutes over. And once he takes out all those parts, we'll be good.
Oh,
Yeah, but he has to sit through it and watch it all.
Oh, bless your heart.
We love you, Danny.
We
Thanks,
do.
Daniel.
We do, Danny.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.